Hey, that's far out. How y'all doing? Good to see everyone. Um, figuratively speaking, you're looking fabulous, by the way. It's just working on you. That favor thing, man, is all over you, and you're looking beautiful, baby. So, welcome everybody. So good to see you. It is Friday, the strong end of the week. I hope for you that it has been a good week. I hope you've learned, grown, expanded. Yeah. Just invoking and pulling down favor from on high on all of us. I love the fact that you think that you can have different kinds of favor. That whole thing with the favor, the flavor is the new flavor. Well, the new flavor has many different flavors within itself. So, yeah. So we're talking, baby, the edifying favor. Edifying, what does that mean? It means to lift you up. It means to build you up. And when you are in a higher place, listen, things happen. Good things happen. So calling that favor from down on high upon us all, may there be nothing missing, nothing broken in our lives. And I'll say hi to everyone here in a second. Just, I like this. I'm getting emails almost every day, folks. This is working. It's working in my life. It's working in my wife's life. It's even working in Dancer's life, my dog's life. So let's go ahead and get this read because it is a declaration. As a man thinketh in his heart, so he is. Think about that next time you look in the mirror. We're going to talk about that in a second. All right. All of these favors, and I'm going to use this in the third party tense, all of us, will come upon us and overtake us if we give voice to them each day. Favor will be upon us in the city. Favor will be upon us in the country. Favor will heal our body when we speak favor to your body. Favor will set apart our children, our animals, our relatives. Our ground is favored with abundance of joy. Nothing wrong having happy feet. Favor will be upon our food, our water, our pantry. Listen, sucks when you go to the pantry and there's nothing there. Yeah, it does, doesn't it? Favor will walk with us when we go in, and favor will walk with us when we go out. Favor will cause my enemies to be at peace with us. Favor will be upon our barns and storehouses, where we keep our valuables to prosper in safety. Favor will be upon us in everything we undertake. Everything we set our hands to, favor shall cause it to prosper. Wow. Talk about the Midas touch. Favor shall be upon us and all our material property, and shall cause it to last longer and not break. Favor shall protect us, our offspring, our possessions from calamity. Favor will lead us to good fortune in all things. Favor will cause us to be the head, not the tail. Favor will cause us to come out on top and not beneath. Favor will cause us to always to be above and not below. Think about that. Favor will cause us to have favor with the elements. Favor will cause us to be favored with the spiritual realm. Favor will cause us to be favorable to everyone we meet. They will see us with favor, and favor shall seek us out. And this is critically important. I mean, we got some very enlightened people here. Listen, it will be created in my words, and what was said has been done. Finish. Done. Don't even, give it a second thought, baby. It's there. It's done. And yeah. So, I had a visitor today. I get up early and I am a stargazer, and looks like we had a friend. So we'll continue to see if our friend was just a passing through. The thing about the favor declaration, folks, what makes it active is your faith. And if you don't have faith, well, not much is going to work for you. And we all have that seed of faith. And I want to say this, and next week we're going to spend some time on this. I want to say this, and it's the synchronicity of this group. Wow, off the charts. You are already perfect. There is no sin in your life. In fact, sin is impossible. You heard me right. You see, that's part of the whole trap. That's what gets you, it's like walking on fly paper. How many of you know what fly paper is? It's paper with glue on it. Boom, fly hits it, and then, it's stuck and it dies. There is no sin in your life. There is no such thing as sin. You are perfect. And I'm going to prove it to you. And I'll just start out with this little tidbit. How could you be judged as having sin if you weren't already perfect? Think about that. All right. Hey, Al, how you doing? David Berry 75. How are y'all doing? Cheesesteak 22. Hello. Robert, good to see you. Maverick George, hello. Rod, good to see you. Robin, good to see you as well. Brandy, you're a fine girl, by the way. Eric Green, good to see you. See you, ZQ. How you do? I spoke with Joshua, consciously aware too. I like that. He's doing fine. He's moved down south and they're getting their lives put together. A lot of things happening in a lot of people's lives. Yeah, I know the same thing with Peter. We haven't seen him in here. Connie, good to see you. Wendy, hello. Cheryl, peace. Is that Tabby speak? Is that what good to see you? Jeremy Damon, hello. Ghost Umi, how you doing? Peace. Dynan, hello. Cosmic Jiffy. Oh man, how are you doing? If you check out the songs I put up there, Gypsy Man by War. Oh, baby. I mean, if you listen to that and you can't get up and dance, and even if you can't get up, man, you can definitely get learn to dance, folks. If you don't learn to dance, the spirits, you don't want those kind of spirits that come around, the grumpy ones. No, man, you want the ones that are out there with you dancing. I do it in my garage all the time. And, they're there. And, the more you recognize them, the more they will be willing to manifest into your life. Now, yesterday, I said that we actually have this book. We'll be concluding it today. The Talisman, the Magical Talisman of King Solomon. I got the wrong country. I said it was Norway. It's the Netherlands. So my apologies on that. Hey, listen, what can I say? And happy birthday to all of those of you who are having a birthday. Hey, congratulations, man. You made it. Yeah, tea today. And we're just sending thoughts of healing and encouragement. There's people in our community who are struggling, and we as a group to say we love you, we speak favor over you, and we just cover you with favor, healing, and encouragement. Listen, it is said that a word spoken at the right moment, how sweet it is. Laughter does the heart as a good medicine. Learn to laugh, folks, even when you're crying. You ever done that? Ever cried and laughed at the same time? Yeah. We're all human here. Listen, there's no one else. We are perfect within ourselves, and that's the whole point. We'll dwell on that next week. All right. I don't know how many of you listen to the Steiger perspective, but it's amazing. I make predictions on that show, and this morning, a number of articles manifested. Yeah, it's weird. Going to be getting in touch with Karen, Queen of Quartz. We're going to get this thing coordinated on this crystalline network that we have put together. So looking forward. I believe I know it. I know it that we are far more stronger, much more flexible And you have to do that in your consciousness. Otherwise, you get stuck to that damn flypaper. You know? Anyway, 33 thumbs up. I'm telling you, the synchronicity, man, is everywhere. I was doing my mirror awareness. Far freaking out. That's all I got to tell you. I mean, wow. And I'll just share with you what it was intense. I saw with myself this, woo, all I can say, it was a light that, you know, it wasn't an aura. I know what that is. This one was different. This one was really different. It was, that's a good word. Almost electrical in nature, but yeah, I hope you're still practicing. I hope you're speaking favor into your body every day. Man, folks, do it. Don't let another energy rob from you. Excellent, David. Excellent. Yep. So we've got this thing down, folks. Hey, Maria, good to see you. If there's people like this, hello, Charlotte. So I sing the body electric. You know what? There was a show started out in the Charlotte area, and then I think she actually got into a lot of other markets on PBS called The Body Electric. And yeah, you know, interesting, isn't it? Some of us may have fallen off the track when we came into this realm, but we're getting it back, baby. I mean, we're all getting back on the rails. And, you know, John Lennon said it best, you know, sometimes you just get lost along the way, you know, it's part of the journey. And some of us were lost and we're getting our bearings. So I want to share something with you. I got a great email from an individual who is a very deep thinker. And I appreciate that. Deep thinking is good. I was out doing it today, doing a little sun soaking in, you know, getting that vitamin D, talking to the spirits. And this is the absolute truth, folks. While I was out there and having a conversation, you know, I got questions, and I'm not afraid to ask. I'm not afraid of them. I'm not afraid of the spirits. They're nothing to be afraid of. And, you know, particularly if you're at that vibration, and if your soul energy emanates the type of radiance that it does, folks, you don't have anything to be afraid of. Anyway, I'm out there and I'm just doing some meditating, you know. In fact, I was using this book here. I love this book, by the way. And mentally, just focusing in on a particular sigil. It just talks to me. And as I was sitting there and finally came back into the body, I'm looking, and there's this rabbit. Now, this rabbit is not a normal rabbit. Well, yes, it is. I don't know. But it was sitting there, literally like 3 feet away, staring at me intently. And I spoke to it. You ever thought how a rabbit looks at consciousness? Folks, all consciousness, all life has within it consciousness. You may say you disagree, but I say, explain to me then how your thought process works. If your conscious isn't made up of billions, potentially trillions of neurons, no. Do you ever hear the expression, life is in the blood? All right, so sent me a great email, and I want to share it with you as we get and conclude in our book. So real quick, we're going to talk about in this, because I thought it was really interesting, Pareidolia. Now, if you can see faces in this slide, congratulations, you're normal. Here you can go see how the matrix works. And folks, it is a matrix. You just got to accept it. It is. I don't even think we see the real universe. So you can see if you stare how the mind, it's the spirit, however you want to look at this. I love this, what Gene Roddenberry said. We must question the story logic of having an all-knowing, all-powerful God who creates faulty humans and then blames them for his own mistakes. Dun, 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 dun. How can you have 10 commandments when the very God that gave those supposed commandments can't keep it? Just saying. Now, I remember, all of y'all maybe remember when this happened, and I remember when, in fact, NBC was broadcasting this, and we all saw, I was making a presentation to a group of venture capitalists, and needless to say, the meeting was postponed, but we were watching this live, and this face, literally, as we were watching, I think it was Tower 2 coming down, this is what manifested. Here's another view of it. Was that an entity? Was that an intelligence? We see it in the fruit. It's amazing how our minds begin to realize that all around us, there is another reality. We're just immersed in one of many. And some people find it very difficult to accept. We even design exotic plants, flowers, to imitate consciousness. We see it in the firmament above. We see it all around us. And yet, no matter, how you take a look at it, you can say, well, yeah, we know that those are a chemtrail, clouds. But when we begin to see it in nature itself, you have to stop and ask, am I fully awake? Do you think that this is a living intelligence inhabiting this? I do. Absolutely. Again, life is far more than what we consider carbon-based life to be. Trees, I did a whole video on this. They're spirits. They're spirit beings. They're of a class of spirits. This, ladies and gentlemen, was the most remarkable thing. This, as you can see, is the actual date of the MRI where it was taken. This is a tumor on a man's testicles. It was a real face. Makes you wonder how many can inhabit this temple. I mean, if you don't recognize it as a temple and you don't recognize it that you are a god, then another god can move in, a lesser god. So, yeah, there you go. Weird, huh? Strangeness everywhere. You have to admit, the old man Mountain's Nose in New Hampshire, broke off a few years ago. Well, I would say, Al, that's clear indication of a change coming. It may very well indication that that spirit left. There seems to be an exodus of that. That's exactly right, Eric. Now, let me get you to, and I tell you, we will get to the end of it. Most of these rituals you already know in the book. If you don't have it, just email me. There's no excuse. All right. So, good email. A gentleman wrote to me and, you know, was telling me why, you know, there is a God and there is a Jesus. And I got a problem. You know, listen, if that's where your head's at, cool. I don't care. I was there once and it happened. So I wrote this. In fact, I'll tell you, I was channeling this. When I read this back, I said, where did this come from? But here, I'll just read it to you. And I'm responding to his list. So you're getting kind of the future view of the past tense of what was being addressed. I said, I found the list to be thought-provoking, inasmuch some I know, some I can see, and yet others like a foreign language. This is where I'm at in my journey. Intelligence. This is what mankind uses to determine sentience of consciousness. Man, from this point of view, sees the universe in a limited reality, highly defined, heavily regimented into a structure from where he can build from to establish man's place in creation. To do otherwise leads only to chaos, and that is unacceptable. From these pillars of reason, man reasons there must be something greater than him that brought him consciousness. For man has yet to fully understand what consciousness actually is. So man creates God. Now, since man cannot fully define what consciousness is, he has found the same where God's concerned as well. For man lives in a perpetual hallucination state of mind, and few, very few, fully understand the impact of this state of being. Because man is continually seeking to prove his existence, man does the same with God. You see, my good friend, this is what God has been telling man from the beginning, but man could not accept this, so man created another God called religion, so perfectly constructed in its design to keep man occupied perpetually. You tell me what you think of this. Now, here's what the gentleman wrote, and I think it's worthy for us because it's good, thought-provoking. He wrote, I'm going to let you in on some incredulous insights that may boggle most people's mind with several key points. One, dark matter is invisible light, which is actually the consciousness of all beings, including God. Pareidolia is the extension of God's consciousness. We as humans die and become part of this consciousness. For over a very long stretch of time, civilizations evolved into consciousness. Humans have been on Earth for millions of years, if not billions. We may have innocuous evidence of up to 5 previous civilizations. The evidence of anything over 5 or so civilizations will be wiped out completely by time or by intelligence. The Anunnaki are the hidden rulers of the world. Civilizations reset is part of what I could call part of the long march from very long-lived beings, i.e. the Anunnaki. The moon is hollow, not because it was a starship, but an insanely large fire dragon, eggs, stolen by Enki and Enlil, and retrofitted into a weapon flown here to Earth millions of years ago, and is the cause for the pyramids for being out of alignment, and also flipped the Earth's magnetic poles. The moon was used as a destructive leverage against prior civilizations. 90% of history is a lie. Our current civilization is so different from previous civilizations that the Anunnaki may actually be enjoying this one. Most, if not all, civilizations outside of Earth are agrarian cultures vastly different than ours. Most civilizations outside of Earth work with the previously mentioned consciousness. There is a war going on for far longer than humans realize that is going on outside of Earth. Space is not a vacuum, but plasmic in nature. And then I separated this so you can see how this came out. There will be a fake alien invasion. Going now with the list, we're on 16. The fake alien invasion is actually fake only because the people who are being called aliens are actually the good guys. Dragons still exist outside of Earth. Look at Mud Fossil University's 900-mile-long dragon, which is actually somehow tied to the sinking of Atlantis. And I've seen those. Yeah. There's a creature that has been written that is asleep in the Mediterranean, in the deep trench. Who knows? Consciousness, aka God, and his third allies are right here now. They do have a Star Trek Prime directive of non-interference. That directive is just about exhausted here on Earth. The moon has been prophesied to move like a drunkard. That is a current event within the last few years. The moon egg has been taken from the Anunnaki. This taking is the effect or sign from the good folks that this has happened. The Anunnaki know propaganda very well and have smeared the gray folks into being I think that's Ebi beings, but are actually a good race. There's more to this one being, there is more than one being like God. Look at Gary Parker. I've had Gary on here, and his interaction with Abba. You can also see over in WSO. Anu is one of the beings that is like Abba, but is truly an ancient evil. Nibiru is real. Earth is a major outpost for the Anunnaki. The Anunnaki are about to lose this outpost. Knowledge of number 26 has escalated in expedited technology time from them to humans. There are 2 motherships in Antarctica. The Anunnaki are attempting to free these ships in an effort to escape. The smaller UFOs that humans see often cannot be used for number 29 because they are short-range ships. 0-point energy is dark matter, which is just consciousness. Abba is more powerful than Anu and controls all 0-point energy, which UFOs use. But the motherships are nuclear-based in design because of this. Otherwise, we would be conquered more than likely instead of them playing behind the scenes. Okay. Yeah, let me get on with this. The Earth and humanity will be free soon in the grand scheme of things. A split second in an eternity, but I do believe that within the next 10 years, stars and our sun are actually conscious conduits. There is no dome, but there is an oxygen bubble around the Earth, which takes high speed, 0-point energy speed to penetrate without possibly imploding. It destroys everything here. Earth's oxygen bubble is the Anunnaki's final exit strategy in an effort to escape the destroying everything rather than it falling back into Abba's influence. This is why Abba and his allies are here now. Seriously, start thinking about any sins you committed. Again, you're going to have to define sin to me. And then tell me which species of man sinned against what. You know, I don't buy that one. I'm sorry. I can accept a lot of this, but that kind of, well, we'll deal with that next week. See, that's got to be erased out of our consciousness, but I digress. Anyway, it goes in, not all things in the Bible happened in the last 6,000 years, and you can see. All right, so pretty much you've got what we got there. You know, that's all I can say. Take it for what it is. I keep an open mind. I don't dig the sin thing. Doesn't make sense. Never has, and it never will, because it doesn't exist. Even in the Gnostics, the Gospel of Thomas, the Gospel of Mary Magdalene, you know, the character Jesus told them all there is no sin. None. It's a guilt matrix. You fall for that crap, baby, you're going to be recycled like a paper bag. You want to know why? Because you're going to allow it. You're actually allowing it. And, this is how this virus has been perpetrated for the last couple thousand years. Charlotte, absolutely, Puff the Magic Dragon. By the way, I was thinking about that, Charlotte. It's sad that you mentioned that, because that was, I don't know, a couple of days ago. And if you remember the song that Peter and Paul Mary wrote on that, little Tommy, he grew up. It was his faith that changed, and Puff no longer could exist. In fact, the character Jesus said that. It's actually written that it says, when he entered in the town, their faith in him was like zero. Like, we don't care who you say you are. We ain't buying your stuff. And it said that he could do no miracle except to heal a few. And every person has the ability to have healing. Anyway, so Wendy W., exactly. No thanks, not recycling, not buying it. That's the problem. And it's only when you start questioning it that you go, So let's get on with what we are doing here. I think yesterday's lesson was absolutely the freaking best. No doubt about it. It's something else I want to talk about, where these Hebrew names of this God, this deity, is concerned. They can be changed. They can. There are a number of gods that I have no doubt probably that these seals will work with. It's the whole construct of Lucifer. There is no being as Lucifer. I mean, now people in the Catholic Church and Christianity, there actually were, well, we won't get into that. But the names we have seen throughout many cultures, they have different names for the archangels. And by the way, getting it now, the electricity, the archangels and the archdemons. Now, I contend there may be, in fact, a complete structure of this reality. Dominions, principalities, kingdoms, high places. It would only make sense that if intelligence does exist past the physical realm, that you would find order, structure. I contend that gods are nothing more than those souls or those spirits that are older. I think there are young spirits. I think there's very old spirits. And so just remember this. I also want to address the altar situation. Any table will work. I have a workbench out there, Black & Decker workbench. It's really just something to hold things out. If I ever get to the point where I can actually begin to do levitation, and see that and begin to wholly doing that, yeah, you can put it over there. And that's where we all want to be, right? Even when we get on the other side. So as you can see, we go through the whole cycle, all 44 of these seals, and they are seals. Seals contain sigils. Sigils are, ready, symbols. Symbols indicate signal. SSSS. All right. So on this one, if you want people to really dig you, if you're, at that point where, you're ready for, love is in the air, well, then this is the one. You should have your candles, set it up. And I have different colored coverings. I'm making mine still. I intend to eventually have a number of different colors with different sigils that will be used in the inner sanctum of my circle to get these fully activated. It's set up the altar as such. The talisman will always be in the middle. On the right side, place the candles, and on the left, place the incense. Charge the talisman. We talked about this already. Light, in this case, the black candle. Light the incense, and again, frankincense and myrrh. In this case, you can actually use a pedestal and, get them up. Thank you, ladies. This stuff is powerful. Reason why it shows up in all magic and in stories of all royalty. I digress. Pick up the talisman and place it in your hands, either hand or both. Now sit in front of your altar. And the altar really, to me, is nothing more than a focus of concentration. That's all it is. And think about the person or persons you want to compel and how you want to compel them. Once you have built a sufficient feeling, an image of what you want, then you're done. Recite the following verse with conviction. May the desert tribes bow before him and his enemy lick the dust. Now invoke the divine names as such. Now you see, you can add your own names. If you get to know the spirit realm, I'm out there meditating and this question was asked of me, of the elders. Who gave you your name? I'm in meditation and I'm thinking, and I hear this question. I'm asking you, who gave your name? Now, most of us, following the tradition, our parents did. Some have made some very stupid mistakes in the naming of their children. They weren't very sharp to begin with. But the question then becomes, now, wait a minute. What was your identity prior to you having, and they christened your name? I did a whole thing on what's your birth certificate, why they print it in capital letters. So think about this. You get good enough, and if the spirits find you acceptable enough, I don't know how to say this, but for many people, your spirit stinks. Your soul stinks. Because you have such conflict, turmoil within you. You got anger. You got egos. And, the type of spirits that we want around us, that, we want associated with, those are not the kind. And I was actually told that many people's spirits, their souls stink. All right. So you invoke the divine names as such, and you go and you say, you, the most powerful and holy name, and you can use whatever you want. With your power, I compel Nancy Two Shoes to do my bidding. You are Adonai, the great Lord, and Adon, Lord, Adonai as well. And remember, Lord, L-O-R-D, literally translates ball. No deviations of it. That's why you see it in the small L, because that can mean a whole lot. And I found it interesting. I'm dissecting this process here for you, because this is what you've got to do. That, wait a minute, there, if you're now telling me I'm using something below which I was invoking a particular deity here. Yeah. It says, I will adorn over, blank. I will be what I will be. Amen. Sit in silence. Just feel the power of God coursing through you. Visualize the power coming through the top of your head and out of your hands into the talisman. Watch it glow. I have no doubt it does, in fact, glow. You do. This is physical mass. Biomass, yes. But I've got elements of gold, silver, platinum, copper in my blood, in my body. So do you. All right, place the talisman down and say, in gratitude, I come before, in this case, he's using Jehovah, Adonai. Now I have a specific title, a specific name. I know that you will grant this wish for me through this holy talisman of Solomon, your servant. Leave the talisman on the altar until the candle and incense are extinguished. When the candles and incense have burned down, you are free to use the talisman how you please. You can wear it, put it in your pocket, or whatever is most appropriate for you based on the purpose of this talisman. And we go through, basically, it's the same process. Again, the different, on the right, you put the candle, the talisman in the center, the incense on the left. It's pretty simple. Now, I believe, and I'm writing down in my book, when I sense of a name, I write it down. I'm convinced that I don't have to use this particular deity. I happen to know for a fact there are many other deities. I know some of their names. And even in Kabbalism, there is a story that says Yahweh is just one of 10. There's specific reference that in Psalms 82. So I firmly believe you can, in fact, probably put any one of these gods. I'm going to say this. May sound a little strange. I'm going to start using my name instead of Jehovah's. Why would I do that? Because I'm a God. And from my Christian indoctrination, I happen to give you Bible verses. Hebrews 2:14, Hebrews 4. I can just go right on through the list that says these angels bow down to man. They are here to serve man. So why do I have to use the name Jehovah, Yahweh, Adonai? I can use the name Robert Wayne Steiger. Have just as power, just as much impact. I believe, in fact, more in Robert Wayne Steiger than I do Jehovah. And you should as well. Think about it. If you're going to be judged according to some construct, then the evidence has to be presented before you. The only way that evidence can be presented before you, you're being indicted on the fact that you failed as a God. How else are you going to be indicted? How else can there be a charge, an accusation against you? You can't do it based on an inferior human. By their very logic, that is illogical. Boy, am I on a roll on this. I don't know where this is coming. But folks, this is good stuff. Think about it. And again, each one of these rituals, and we perform rituals every day. Your life is for the most part, a ritual. You have a ritual procedure that you conduct your life by. We all do. This is no different, folks. Get the superstition, the indoctrination out. And I challenge anyone. Tell me why I cannot use my name just right alongside Jehovah's. In fact, I ain't going to use Jehovah. I don't like the guy. I don't like that deity. You know? I've told that deity what I think of it. It's a murderer, a liar, a deceiver. I have greater power than that. So do you. Again. Now, let's talk about, well, then how does this work then with the angel? I just told you. I mean, I know it. This is part of that. You know, when you're out planting a garden, you have to put the manure into the ground. You have to sift through it. And you're going to get a bumper crop. It's just the way it works, folks. But my point again, I believe that these angels will in fact obey you. Now, if you don't want to use an angel's name that has the Hebraic name in it, then I suggest that, and I don't see any reason, these angels, these demons, they answer to the belief in Islam. They do the same belief in Hinduism. I can just go right on down the list. Christian. Yeah. And to bring my point, you know, how many times have you, those of you who have come out of Christianity, said, in Jesus' name? Now, Jesus doesn't exist. The name is a fraud. It has no foundation in history, but I will tell you this. There are those that will tell you they have been healed, they have been saved from death by using that name, invoking that name. Does that contradict? No, because that's where their faith was. That faith, their faith activated that name. And the problem is with most people, and we're going to get out of here because, folks, it's the same all the way through. So if you want the book, just email me. But here's the point. When you invoke a name, now think about this. The name of Jesus has no historical precedence at all. It's a made-up name that was for whatever reason. But the point is this. Most people I counsel and talk to, they don't have faith in themselves. They don't have faith in their name. And if you don't have faith in your name, if you don't have faith in yourself, very little is going to work for you in magic. That's all I can say. I hope you will begin to lift yourself up. The reason why so many people do without in their lifetime, because they don't think they're worthy of it. And so that's exactly what you're going to get. You're not worthy. And that's how you'll exit out into the spirit realm. And that's exactly the energy that you're going to be putting out. You will be a victim to whatever freaking ideology that you've got in your head. There's going to be someone over there who's going to play it out for you. Now, if you go through and step through with this, I dare the son of a bitch try to cross me. Where's his legal or its a legal authority? Show me where you have authority. What court are you representing? What God are you representing? Because I don't recognize that God. And in the spirit realm, That counts for everything. That's why they'll never inject me back into that. I'm a virus, as many of you are. And that carries over. So, deep stuff, folks, deep stuff. And remember, every one of these sigils are powered in the same way. And I am contending this, that if we have actually entered into a new age, a new era, everything has to change. If you're bringing the old, how can wine be stored in an old wineskin? Yeah, I took that one right out of the New Testament. But yet the words are very wise words. I contend magic is the same way. The flaw that I see with modern day magic is this. It's based on the Hebraic ideology, and that makes it flawed. It's not useless, it's just flawed. And we have to break it and reassemble it. Throw out these old gods that have done nothing to benefit humanity. Nothing. But used us as though we were some freaking tennis ball. The time has to change. And I contend that magic has to change as well. And that's exactly what I'm doing. I can read how they did it in the past, but I refuse to bow down to a Hebraic entity that I neither like nor have any belief in. So where does that lead me? It leaves me with a wide open arena. So come on in. The water is good. Yeah, I know that this is pretty heavy stuff, and I know that this is not going to replace any video game or cartoon or whatever. But, you know, for those of you who are serious about it, to get change in your life, you have to begin to make change. And you can't bring the chains with you because the chains will never change. You know, I spent decades, folks, getting out from under that curse. And there's something I've learned. You don't have to yield. Now, listen, I want to state this for the record. I am deeply appreciative of my consciousness. I don't know what gave it to me. I don't know. I don't remember. But I am grateful and most appreciative to however that came about. Whatever or whoever is responsible. I have a grateful spirit, and I honor that gift that I have been given. And I think that that is the highest form of respect any spirit can give to the giver of all consciousness. And that's just how I see it. Have I ever done a live meditation? Not in the extent, CC, of what you're saying, but I think it would be really cool. Susie Q, the world is your oyster. I wish more people would see that. It's so true. It's just getting things back into there. Consciousness is sacred. Yes. Truth Seeker 1961. It is. It's the most precious thing that there is. Without it, we don't exist. And as I showed you in what was channeled to me this morning, we don't fully understand consciousness. It is so much greater than I think we have even begun to fully comprehend. Yeah, how about that one, Al? Sun Rabbit, that's very interesting. Yeah, I think that the live chat would qualify as a live ritual. And in a sense, in a seance, I agree with you. Very profound, very profound. Love that. Hey, Brandy, well, thank you too. Love you as well. This is what we're talking about. And it's not heresy. It's not sacrilegious. It's the very thing that I have been able to come about. Most people don't like themselves. And so many hate themselves. And that's exactly, there are those energy beings. We've seen it. Listen, yesterday, that was far out, man. I got to tell you what, it was impacting my dreams. Circuitry, we're involved in this. It's everywhere. So if we're in it, I think it's about time we figure out, well, how do we use it to our best outcome? I've seen it for the others, and it sucks. I can tell I don't like it at all. And who of us don't? I mean, come on, be honest. And, you know, it's like being the only kid that didn't get the ice cream, you know? It's like, what happened here? So, all right, we'll end it on that, folks. Y'all are just the best. Love you, man. Much favor to you. Have yourself a strong end of the week. Enjoy it if you can. This stuff will begin to change you, man. It will begin to, and it starts within. It really does. You know, one of the processes we know is banishing a sigil. And it's true. Once you banish it, I mean, the work starts taking place. And yeah, it'll show. It has to. It has no other choice. If it doesn't, then two things are wrong. Either the universe is a liar, or you possibly made a mistake. So let's get the first one off the list, that we don't think that probably is the right one. All right, folks. Peace to you. Love yourselves. You'll love others, and they'll find you much more lovable. All right. See you probably Sunday over on Jeff's channel, Christian Whistleblower, and Monday we're going to get in. Oh, you don't want to miss Monday. Whew. All right, folks. Bye.